Good morning, folks. Going to issue a very dire warning over the next 14 days. All the pressures are indicating it is a very long sustained period coming for New Zealand, where all the flow across the southern Indian Ocean, Great Australia Bight, mixing with cold air, is going to bring it right over the top of Tassie in New Zealand. And so these totals that I'm showing you are going to rise. They're going to rise big time. And so I'm going to prepare you for it now. Doing the best I can signal wise. These totals are going to rise big time. And I think over the 14 to 16 day period, starting here in a few days, you guys are going to pick up some of these places, like down here in the Westland, near half a meter, ARKS Pass. And these are a lot. This is big. And not all this is going to be snow. If I come down here and there's a half a meter showing for rain, and that's going to increase. Any of the ice and snow up there is going to melt. It's not going to be a big snow event for a lot of people initially. I think as we get about 14 days from now, there's a pocket of cold air is going to be driven up and over Antarctica and in, is indicative of some of the pressures that I'm seeing. As I went over yesterday, because I couldn't do a live, but I had a long look at the long-term pressure outlook. And so this is going to be a devastating event, not just for the South Island, but for the North as well. But the South Island's really going to cop it, as all this is directed over, and the condensates will collide as it comes and lifts as it hits the shore and hits the EMF boundaries put by the NEXRAD radars. And we also yesterday or day before had an earthquake in Australia, and so I had a look. It occurred. It was a fairly shallow one. I don't know if you can see it here. It was at a 10-kilometer depth, a little bit deeper than that. It was at a quarry, one of those, an actual quarry. Mike can do a zoom bit. Hang on. Oh yeah, here we go. Hang on. So we can look at this a little bit more, and I definitely see electromagnetic frequency as being a possible a causator. It would have definitely increased seismicity. Hey, look, it's one of my bird heads. See, it's a mining area. But this also received a 4.8 occurred between these two here. Right? See it down here by the road. But it's a quarry. Who knows if they was blasted? Who knows if they had an underground collapse? Who knows it? But all I know is electromagnetic frequency did come down. You had quite a few beams. You had a big one that went here and here, and then it went boom, boom, and it panned in that direction. Local NEXRAD radars provided corridors here, here, and here, and it centers right where the quake happened is the highest interference pattern. Now, you're not aware, electromagnetic frequency can induce earthquakes. A prime example would be the thumper trucks like these here, that are used for seismic testing to see what minerals and stuff are in the ground. And they often work in groups, and they'll have a plate on the bottom that has a device like this one here. You see that? We can do a zoom bit on this. If I'm allowed to steal this picture, I'll do it. Save image as is, and yeah, we got an option. So I can zoom in and point at some of the parts on this, because it's kind of important to what I'm telling you. Right here is a device. See that there? Well, it's not zooming very well. Maybe if I open it here. Hang on, I'm going to double open this. Oh, we don't play games. I want to zoom in on it. Oh, it's not letting me open it like that. Okay. Well, there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? What's this? I want to point out the parts on this. It is important. Whoop. Print screen. There we go. I got an external keyboard. So it's taking me a while to figure out his buttons. Here we go. Here is right. We look in on this thing. You'll notice this here. This goes up and down at a predictable rate or a frequency. You see the pneumatics or the air hoses, and this one actually might be hydraulic. And you pump it to one side of the piston and then the other to raise and then drop a piston onto the ground, which is on this plate here. And you do it at a certain frequency. Some of you may be aware that Nikola Tesla, He did experiments in his lab, and he came up with a device called Nikola Tesla's oscillator. And it consists of this here. This is the piston design here. And it's grown up into quite a device. It comes up and down, boom, 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 boom. But when he did it, he actually caused earthquakes in his area, and the police shut him down. And so I also got a scholarly article about boreholes. When they do fracking and drilling, sometimes they put EMF down at the end of the drill, and it helps with the well, it causes less solidity of material. It keeps things clearer. The vibrations. It helps with drilling, and so this was how they documented earthquakes being caused by that type device. And so when we say there's earthquakes and fracking are associated with each other, this kind of proves that. And it talks about how many number of pulses and that you would give per minute. Here, I'll zoom that up a bit. And so you can see some of this information where they talk about, debates about the feasibility of earthquake prediction. But this talks about causing them. Ultra low frequency changes in horizontal electric fields in particular have been used to predict the time, location, and magnitude of earthquakes. So they could do something and actually predict the earthquake. Or can you say they can tell when they're going to cause it? So by using the interference pattern of, let's say, when I look at mimic here, and these are the beams that occurred, right? This is the beams here that I took that screenshot of. See that coming down the coast here? See the strata here and here and here. All of it has been, there's so many waveforms intersect each other. The waveform mathematics of sine waves comes into effect, where you'll be adding and subtracting depending on peak and trough of waveform. And it really gets the atmosphere, the mantle undulating. And the vibration itself causes less solidity of material, right? And the heating and expanding of materials from heating itself from microwave excitation of molecules would cause that pattern to happen. And to see that earthquake there was no surprise to me. See the beam come down here? I'll do the boost noise next time when it comes past. Bzzz. You see it panning like a broom sweeping along? I'll zoom it down now and we'll get all this with its full time stamps for all those people thinking you'll be making stuff up. Who would make that up? And you can see the beam come down. That's a big one. And as yet I can't pinpoint exactly what device did it, but one device that seems to be involved where one of the squares is right over the Newcastle death ray that I have on a map. And then if I'm lucky, it's going to open up. Right, this is what the show is about, is just showing you guys data. So yes, I do see that electromagnetic perturbation is exacerbating the conditions and making them properly favorable for an earthquake. Right? This isn't that earthquake machine I'm talking about that did a Christchurch. You're being fooled. It can be done with things like this one here along Newcastle, right in that area where that square is centered. You have this device here, which is Tesla's death ray. Right? They use it for shooting missiles out of the atmosphere 3,500 miles away. It can heat it up so much by focusing its energy on one point in the upper atmosphere, it actually causes a mirror to form, a plasma mirror, and it would aim the signal where they want to. And by modulating the frequency, they can aim the atmospheric mirror. It can dimple the atmosphere and cause rippling effects. And that's Tesla's death ray, man, all day long. And it's right there in Newcastle. If we're lucky, I can pull a picture of it up. Tesla's death ray. Free energy is very, 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 very real. And if you Google what I just said and click images, you'll come up, you'll see the blueprints. This right here. That's your facility right there. That's that device. It just looks like a frying pan, but all of it's connected fair the same. Where is that picture? Oops. That one. So you'll visit and do your homework. Bzzz. See how they got the thing and the lines and the lines in the box? Yeah, he's had grandchildren. They've researched his stuff. When they stole all the stuff from his lab when he died, not all the boxes got turned in to where it's supposed to be archived. And a bunch of boxes were missing, and somebody related to Donald Trump was involved in the retrieving of that material, and that's also a fact. Like it or not, it's a fact. So, anyways, the frying conditions, yes, I would say that was an induced quake. I'm looking at the showers coming over my house here. So I'm going to close that one off. We get some more bandwidth coming. And so here's an article you can have to do your own homework about the wonderful niches of our planet and how our masters have researched how to make earthquakes into the exact time when they could be caused. And I use electromagnetic frequency. Excuse me, I'm trying to get this to paste. There it is. Na-na! My magnification is so high you can't even... I'm not accessing that part very easily. Here we go. That'll give you that so you can have that for yourself. Okay, well, I'm going to go roll the forecast part of this now because this is important, and I'm going to put a pretty vast view down here because you got to see how the pressures are going to react because there's a few towns that are going to be affected. Excuse me, I'm live streaming right now. Yeah, I know. I'm actually doing a live video weather forecast, so I can't get it. Cheers. Probably bringing me coffee. They're very kind here. Okay, anyways, as you can see here, it's going to be very windy. You can tell by how close the isobars are. These lines of equal pressure is what that symbolizes, right? Every one of them lines. And if it goes that way, all of that's the same pressure number. So it tells me what the oscillations between this high and this high are going to occur. And what's it going to squeeze in between itself and bring down, or is it going to go up? Like putting your hands together in a swimming pool, you can make a little fountain from your hand, a little squirt gun. You can squirt it from the bottom or the top of your hand, can't you? Depending upon which way you squeeze it. Well, the wedge shape of this tells me which way the hand's being squeezed, so to speak, and you're going to have a big lightning show. I don't see really the conditions for tornadoes themselves, but the winds are going to be very, very high. If one of this corner like that came across like that, I'd be more concerned because of the turnaround of the wind when it changes directions from here to here to bring that mass down into the Tasman Sea over here. It would cause such like that. But yeah, it's going to get bad. And if I see any difference temperatures-wise, I'll let you know. Thunder snow could be possible in some of the higher elevations, but this is going to be a very big lightning show for you guys. Thunder, lightning. But if I see some super high temperatures pop up next to it, I'll be more concerned. But the way the high is oscillating, if that was down here, I'd be more concerned about that. So as it is right now, yeah, you're going to have a lightning show, and that's to be expected to start here. Probably within about the next 12 hours. You know, as it hits over here down the corner near Adelaide over Port Stinking Lincoln, and that's at 11 o'clock my time at night. And so, yeah, that's it. So, yeah, you're talking about, 13 hours from now. So you'll be contending with that in your morning rush hours and stuff as it hits the city proper. And when it runs into that mountain range that's behind here, because I've been there, I know what it looks like, and it picks a lot of energy up off those fields where they grow the grapes and all. A lot of ions going to get generated, so you're going to have a hell of a bucket down coming across you. It's going to lead to some fair totals over that the next 36 hours I'll give you. Right, that's fair totals. It's not super duper, nothing to kill the world or anything. So it's going to be a hell of a loud, and there's going to be some gully watches batches coming through. So I'm more concerned about people with bald tires, motorcycles, and stuff. But over here in Melbourne is not going to be the same story. If we're looking at some of their totals over going through this week all the way till Friday, it's pretty high. But as this batch comes over them, and they'll get affected by it. Some of the spots over there picking 3 and 4 centimeters up. And as it hits this mountain range over, you could count on that. And some of that's going to fall as a wintry mix. So I'm going to, again, just continue to roll this through. And then New Zealand, you got all our attention because, well, you're already starting down here in the Southlands down there. And this is going to be a long, sustained event when it finally gets to you. But I gave you plenty of warning last week. So I don't feel like I've neglected anybody. But I had to move. And internet is what it is. It is what it is. Here we go. Let's roll it too. Tazzy, you just get the endless spit. Every time I round the corner, it puffs a bit of its crap off at you. And that's not going to be the coldest as it could be because it's already gone through the bite and down to here. Right? The bite. Testicles. Right? And then here comes another masher alarm. But this one's really whipping some cold air into that one. Right, if I put the particle animation back on, it really confuses the screen. You'll see the directions of flow and how they're mixing. Right up here is where the warmest areas come down to mix. So the likeliest activity of supercell formation is going to be around this corridor between Wagga Wagga and that right through here. So I'll be watching for that over the next 24 hours. And if I see anything going tornadic, you can count on me going live immediately. And I'll even use emotive language on my title to get you to listen to me so that you're safe. Right, so that's pretty much what's come through for you guys over here until we get to about the 27th, 28th. It's difficult to see with all them lines on here sometimes, but pressure is very important because I can tell about winds. That's why I don't need to have the particle animation on. I like to tell the directions of wind flow just from looking at that. You'll learn how to. And this gets very windy. This is going to be a damager. This is where you got to look at your tide tables and be expecting a localized flooding along the shorelines. Right, Melbourne, you're going to cop it. See the wintry mix kicking in here, and that cold air is going to flow down into a channel down here. It's going to feed this action. Tassie, this is where you're getting a bit more of that wintry action, and boy, is it going to bucket it down. You guys have absolutely copped it. And then it's coming to visit New Zealand, and it's coming over on the quick. Very quick, that's going to be coming over. So as we get closer on the day, I'll show you the wind temperatures up at the wind speeds up at the higher altitudes, and you'll see how fast they can move this water around. As that dives down, it's going to spit more water into Melbourne, right, by controlling this low down here. And there's a long way to that low, isn't it? That must be very, very deep. Deep low, 944. If it was perfectly circular and tropical, it would be devoid of cloud, and you'd call that a Cat 5. You'd want to make it a 6, is how bad that would be. The pressure's that low. Of course, a hell of conditions. Lots of as you say, high pressure flows towards low pressure, right? And the bigger the drop, the faster the flow. It's like you have a room with not many people in it, and everybody's trying to get out of a packed room, and a door opens up. There's going to be a rush. Well, that's what is happening. Think about it like that. Density and flow. And as we're getting in towards the 31st and the first days of the month, on your blessed Sundays, and that's going to be such a beautiful thing to have to continue to experience over at Tassie and Melbourne as you get through the mold season. Right, New Zealand, here we go. Let's just get you right on the screen here. I'm going to turn some of the pressure. Actually, pressures is very important in yours. There we go. Nobody said it was going to be an earthquake in New Zealand, but it's over in Australia, huh? You got to watch the beams. And the beams always happen before the quake. A couple hours. Up to 48 hours. I've been noticing even 2.5 days now, the perturbances of the mantle staying active as the molecules are jumping up and down into the top and down, depending on their waveform and its length. It's just, you're going to look in the waveforms because you're curious, right? Now, this thing not just zooming through here is telling me they got a square down here. And the flow is limited. That takes a beam that fans here. So they'll aim here. Get it to come in and then move up and over. Force a lift of the stuff, and then this can come straight in underneath it. And this one here is packing a lot of water. This is going to be a dangerous mess of shit. It's not as much of it coming from like up here where there's a lot of fires. Of very dodgy distance fires. Are we still running, I hope? Yes. Running like gum. Yeah, right up the sphincter with a big old fucking thing, and then it hits the mountains there, and then it condensates, and it drops a whole shed load. And who's getting it this time? Hamilton. Hamilton gets the rain. Yeah, you're going to hear some hellacious conditions over there on Thursday the 27th in the evening hours. Coming in about dinner time. Yeah, evening meal. And through the night. It'll clear out, and as we get in the morning hour, that's done. And then you got time to clean your yard out, and here comes the smacker roof or the shout down, and they're going to talk about for years. And it's not over. It's just going to be the whole pressure setup. Has got the whole river of moisture that's in the Antarctic belt is coming your way, and that means all they got to do is burp the two highs, like turn the radar on and off, and cause the highs to get low, and then a little higher. A little lower, a little higher, and it'll cause the oscillation that pulls down the tropical moisture that's going to come in over the top of the nunt and all its fire smoke and everything, and wham out. As we get into that Sunday here, you got a proper low off your coast, and it's going to bring everything predictable that a low does with it. and the wind's coming down coast here towards Nelson and towards the Beak of the Kiwi here, Takaka and all that, is going to lead to some very, very heavy totals. Okay, so I'm going to shorten this now and get to that time period when you're going to get hit. Right, coming in just that 48-hour period alone, you're getting 4 and 5 centimeters of rain. Right, it's a lot. And then we move to after that, more. That's just that 2-day period. Right, I disallowed that other. Right, with whammo whammo, you're up to 10. This is going to be a bad event. This is going to cause some damage. Expect these totals to rise because it's going to keep coming. All of this, the whole belt comes your way. Everything that's with across Antarctica and driven with the big beams that we often show, and the EMF that's used down there to manipulate the flows across Antarctica itself. The quickest shortcuts across the oceans is that. Can't do it in a jet plane because there's no place to safely land if you got to crash. Remember that Brazilian soccer team? Nam 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 comes to mind. I'll pass on that route. But yeah, that's not looking good. Even you guys in that 2-day period here, before you get it before it visits New Zealand. And what hits you is going to be very indicative of the totals that hit New Zealand. Because big condensated clouds tend to recondensate themselves. It does not just tend to rain out, or a cloud would rain out quickly out at sea. It has the dynamics to continue to fuel itself. And when the dynamics are stuff like this, chemtrails, you can endlessly continue to make those conditions as man-made climate change is occurring because man is manipulating the weather. You're getting a half-truth. As I'm looking down here, I don't know what town I'm at. It could be anywhere. 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 You want to see some fires? But burning you again. I'll go in this one area here I've already looked out. First one's this national park here. Okay, the Carnarvon National Park, where there's some very sacred rock drawings. Would you say that that looks a bit sus to you? The laser is burning you out. Dodgy distance fires. Perfect straight lines, perfect squares, all the same. All over your whole country, burning you out. Over here will show it very well because it's the gap in the map. Same distances as you saw over there, repeating themselves here. Pre-programmed laser burning patterns. You can't tell me all that's controlled burn because I want to know who's that damn accurate walking around with a fire can. They're pointing at the guilt, man. Do you have a proposal for a new road through here? Is a parcel of land up for sale? You got some homework to do, guys. They're burning you out again. I'm going to zoom back and look at the geoengineering of my world. And all I see is no deep blue in my sky. I see weather manipulations. I see burning of my planet and another country entirely. It has the same fire patterns as Australia has today. Same burnings. Same hopes and dreams of neighborhoods going up in smoke as you'll watch this distance repeat itself over and over again. Here, 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 here. Over and over again. This is a worldwide toxifying and poisoning plan. This is a worldwide land grab of people that say you're going to own nothing and you're going to be happy. And suddenly your freehold was turned to leasehold and suddenly you don't own your property anymore and they come and take it away. Well, you know what? Only you can give them what they keep having. Only you can tolerate the burning of all these animals and all these forests around my world, my beautiful earth. How dare we not stop this? How dare we allow the greedy to use us to fill their coffers? How dare we watch these fires and stay quiet as I'm back to the United States, the Dakotas now, and I see a huge pattern here. It's not random. It's planned them. And they scamming us. They're burning us out while people talk about fucking who's going to win the election while my planet's getting the erection. And I've had enough. No more, no more. Am I the system's whore? You know who's going to save us? We are. We the people. That is all.